What's up, everybody? My name is Brad and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm back at it with another book review for you guys, and today I want to discuss Parachute by Holly Rae Garcia. This is her newest novella. It just came out a few days ago on Friday, May 20th, and actually I think 2 weeks ago now on Friday the 13th, Holly was on an episode of Paper Cuts, and her episode has now been the most viewed episode we've ever had on Paper Cuts. It's nearing in on about 1,000 views so far, which is just absolutely awesome. So in case you missed it, it seems like not a lot of people missed it, but in case you did miss that episode, I'll link it up here in the cards. It was a lot of fun, and we did chat about her novella Parachute that I'm going to be reviewing today. So let me set the scene, let me set the stage for what is sort of going on in Parachute. So think back to elementary school, and specifically your elementary school gym class, and this is the way it was for me. Yours might have been a different experience depending on maybe how old or how young you are. But elementary school gym class was like the only time that you and all of your friends, all your classmates, were able to get together to play some sort of organized sport, activity, whatever. Different from recess where everybody was doing their own thing. In gym class, everyone was sort of playing the same sport together. We played dodgeball, we played kickball, we played Red Rover, we played tag. Our tag was a bit different. We had like flag football, little belts on with the Velcro flags, had that, and then we did dances. Sometimes we did the Macarena, the electric slide, things like that. Growing up in the 90s, that's what we danced to in elementary school. But there was this one activity that sort of stood above all the other ones. And I think it was because it didn't happen very often. It was a rare occasion we got to do this. But it was when the gym teacher would go into that forbidden storage room, which for some reason no one was ever allowed to go into the storage room other than the gym teacher. And they would pull out this mass, this folded up mass of multicolored nylon, and you would unfurl it into this gigantic parachute that would basically almost cover the entire gym floor, at least from like one wall to the other. And I don't know what it was about that parachute, about all your friends and classmates grabbing on and everyone lifting their arms up in unison, and you can feel the pull of the parachute as it goes above your head, as it fills with air. And then everyone runs underneath of it into this kaleidoscopic world full of color. And again, I don't know what it was about it. There was something about it in an imaginative sort of way that was like being transported to this other place. And Holly Rae Garcia, she takes that notion of another place, that sort of feeling and sensation we all had as kids, sitting beneath that parachute with the light filtering in with all the colors, and it's slowly descending down upon us as it lost air. She takes that quite literally in her novella Parachute. So we're following this close-knit group of friends, and they're sort of hanging out together, and they decide to break into this old abandoned elementary school that flooded quite a while ago, and it's just sort of sat there derelict. It sat there unoccupied, and this is sort of their last adventure together before they all go their separate ways before graduating from high school. And so they're in this gymnasium that's been abandoned, and of course, what do they stumble across? They stumble across this time-worn parachute that has been saved by the flood. It survived this flood from back in the day, and there's this parachute sitting there, and they pull it out, they unfold it, and they decide to play the parachute game, to reminisce and think about all their times growing up together, all the fond memories they had together. And so they grab on and they throw it up, and that's when the story, it takes an unexpected and terrifying turn. Parachute, it warps what was once this innocent children's game into something that is bizarre and unexplainable. It's there's something recognizably familiar about it, like looking at your reflection, looking at your distorted reflection in a funhouse mirror. You know, we're here with our friends, we were in this gym, we're playing this parachute, all that was familiar, and then something feels a bit off though. Something's not quite right. Something has gone oh so very wrong. And it's a seemingly innocuous parachute that acts as a catalyst that transports anyone grasping on to these alternate worlds that are simultaneously fantastical, beautiful, but also extremely dangerous. And it's these alien landscapes that the group of teens find themselves within that are not only environmentally dangerous. There's one world that is completely underwater. There's one world that is so cold it starts to freeze their skin. But the places that are emotionally oppressive as well. There's one location that just sort of bombards them with this overwhelming sense of sadness, a sense of melancholy. And it's sort of this jumping from world to world to world that for me was very reminiscent of the book Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Though here Garcia's style and her execution and presentation they're utterly unique. The books are really nothing alike other than, they travel to different worlds. The characters are traveling to different worlds. And if you like Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, I think you'll really enjoy Parachute by Holly Rae Garcia as well. There was this element of tension and anticipation of, it sounds cliche, of being on the edge of your seat. And the reason I say that is because every time the group would lift up the parachute, we, the readers, would literally have no idea what to expect of what was going to happen next. The only thing we knew is that absolutely anything was within the realm of possibility. And the ending of Parachute, it's a bit ambiguous. It's a bit abrupt, but I really dug it in this particular case because it felt consistent with the rest of the story that's been told up until this point. We're following along with these characters as they jump in and out of these different worlds in the blink of an eye or the drop of a parachute. But this time around, at the end, it feels like we, the readers, we're the ones who have broken that one golden rule of never letting go of that parachute. And we're the ones who've been left behind, and we're the ones who have been cut off. And the ambiguity, it allows Garcia the opportunity to revisit this world or worlds and these characters, at least the ones whose hearts are still beating, in the future if she so desires, while also allowing the reader's imagination to run wild, thinking up whatever horrible things may happen to these characters next. A dark fantasy horror mashup. Parachute by Holly Rae Garcia takes our nostalgic childhood memories and corrupts them with this dreadful sense of malevolence. And it's Garcia's imagination and creativity that really shine through in this white-knuckled, hold your breath, page-turning thrill ride. I had a whole lot of fun with Parachute. Lots of 90s nostalgic memories and vibes coming through here. Ended up giving Parachute 4 stars. It was a whole lot of fun. I really am a fan of Holly's work. Back in 2020, I think it was, I read her debut novel, Come Join the Murder, and it ended up being my surprise read of the year. And the reason for that was because I had no expectations going into it. I had never read anything by Holly before. Obviously, that was her debut. But at the time, I hadn't really heard anybody talking about that book either. And it was an extremely pleasant surprise. It was fantastic writing. It was a lot more violent and dark and sad than I was expecting going in. That sounds weird, but those are the kind of books I like. And it ended up being, like I said, my most surprising read of the year for 2020. So I was glad to dive back into Holly's writing. I can't wait to check out more of her stuff in the future. She also has a book she co-wrote with her husband, Ryan Prentice Garcia, called The Easton Falls Massacre, Bigfoot's Revenge, I believe is the tagline on there. All about Bigfoot. And that sounds like a blast. I need to get to that one sometime soon. But that's it. That's been my 4-star review for Parachute by Holly Rae Garcia. And that's all I have for you guys today. So thank you for spending your time with me. Again, my name is Brad, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.